In today's video, I'd like to talk about the Amish and whether or not they wear seatbelts. Now, as you can see this video here with our Amish friends coming by on that horse and buggy, most of you have passed them. You will normally see a couple of adults in the front or a couple of children driving the buggy, and then sometimes in the back. As you can see here, you have some sweet little children in the back. So obviously they're not wearing seatbelts, but are they required to? Is it a law that they should wear seatbelts and they're just breaking it? We're going to explore that today. While the Amish can live in any state in the entire country, most of them will live in rural areas because that can help enhance their lifestyle, the way they live. And you're going to find that if you did some research, Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania are the three major states that most of the Amish live. There are other states, they do live across the country and in other countries as well, but those are the three highest populations here in the United States. So most accidents with horse and buggies are going to happen in the states where there's more population. But what is the law in these states? Are people required to wear a seatbelt and they just don't? And the answer to that is no, it's not a law. It's not required. The laws that are written for seatbelts and car seats are actually made for motor vehicles. And these are not motorized vehicles. They're being drawn by a horse, and it's a wooden buggy. And to be honest, if they had to wear a seatbelt or they had an infant in a car seat, it actually would be more dangerous in a buggy than it is in a car. When you put a seatbelt on in a car, you have that metal wrapped around you, holding you and protecting you and stopping you from being thrown out of the vehicle, and that heavy vehicle coming and doing more damage. In a buggy, typically that buggy will just splinter apart because it's made out of wood, and it's better for the people in the buggy to be thrown from the buggy. So it's actually safer for them not to wear a seatbelt, believe it or not. Amish people, specifically in Ohio, don't have to follow the same driving regulations and laws as people with cars. Basically, children as young as 8 are on the road operating buggies. It's not unusual to see a buggy being driven by an 8-year-old with other school-age children on their way to school. They do not have to take driving tests. They don't get a driver's license, and they do not have to purchase vehicle insurance because all of those rules are for motor vehicles, and they don't use seatbelts, car seats, or any of that, even for infants. Not only not having a seatbelt is not safe, it's not the safest thing in the world for our horse-drawn buggies, but just the fact that they're on the road causes a danger. Vehicles move at, even if they're going slow, 20 or 30 miles an hour, and a horse and buggy only goes 5 to 8 miles an hour. So even a really fast horse is slow. So we have to respect our neighbors on the roads. If you go out into the country side and you see the signs up that say that there's a horse and buggies, then respect that and keep your eyes open. Try to stay far back and give them that room to share the road. Even if you're going up to pass, you don't want to get too close. Other than that, you follow the same rules for passing. You wait until it's clear and then you pass. The horses are used to it, so that part isn't really much. Why don't the Amish just go ahead and start driving cars so that it would be safer? Why do they even have horse and buggies? Why do they still drive them when the world has moved on and we have faster vehicles and an easier way for transportation? The answer to that is the Amish think that ownership of cars would encourage people to drive away from home more often and give youth easier access to cities. They fear that the car would pull their community apart. Remember, they're very, very strong in staying and supporting each other in the community. And the horse and buggy is a symbol of their separation from the larger world, and it keeps them closer to home. Another question a lot of people might ask is, okay, they're driving their vehicles on the road, they're not the same, but why don't they have insurance? They do not want to be part of our system, part of our culture, and tied to a lot of things that we have in our culture. So they do not, they don't believe in collecting Social Security. They don't believe in collecting welfare. So this is just another thing of being compensated for an accident is just against their beliefs. What they do believe is that God is in control and they believe in God's will. And that's what keeps them focused on their way of life and true to who they are. I do have a video right here about God's will and what that means to our Amish neighbors. I also have a playlist here for you. You can check out if you'd like to learn more about the Amish. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, anything that you'd like to learn more about, just put those in the comments below. And you have a good one. Have a blessed day.